Serbia. This is the FIBA Women's EuroBasket 2019. We are in Group C, and this is the game between Italy and Hungary. Well, the Hungary fans have a lot to be excited about after winning their opening game, but the same could be said for Italy. This is a battle of 1-0 teams. As you look right here at the Group C standings, Slovenia just edging Turkey in the first game of the day to go to 1-1, so they have at least temporarily gone to the top of the standings with 3 points. But the winner of this game coming up will leapfrog them and go into first place. So you see Slovenia pulling away just a little bit late, 62-55. That score might flatter them a little bit, and now it's all about Italy and Hungary. Well, I'm Jeff Taylor, and I'm joined by Shona Thorburn, expert extraordinaire who I enjoy working with. And Shona, we've had three wonderful games, well, three close games, shall we say, and this one has all the makings of another close one.
Yeah, absolutely. Just like we said yesterday, like we said earlier today. I mean, this group is so close. Every game is going to be close. Honestly, I think if whoever can end up winning tonight, Hungary, there we see them, or Italy, this could be the game for first place in the group. So that's how important this game is. You know, we had enormous performances by some of the Hungarian players. We're going to see them coming out soon. I think Bernadette Hatar was absolutely incredible.
Yeah, she was the revelation.
She really was.
On day one.
Offensively, shooting from the outside, but also her rebounding. And those who watched or didn't watch, you'll remember in the fourth quarter, you know, a couple possessions left in the game, she forced a turnover. She doesn't get that steal on her stat, but she's the reason they got the ball back and were able to make it a two-possession game. So that was enormous. But then also, those of you who are watching will remember how Yvonne Turner just took over for Hungary that last maybe 7 minutes of the game.
And I think really, Shona, what really surprised me about Bernadette Hatar was the fact that it was how she scored so many of her points. I mean, she has got a beautiful soft touch wherever she puts it up. And she can hit it from about, from what I could tell, at least 7-8 meters out from the basket, 15 feet.
Yeah, you know, someone her height, you can kind of expect everything is happening around the basket for her, but that's absolutely not the case. She can pick and roll, but she can also pick and short roll, pick and short pop, and she has an excellent shot from outside. I mean, it's one of, for a woman her size, her shot looks like a guard who's been practicing shooting ever since she was little from outside. So really, and I hope she can continue to play like this because it was enjoyable watching her play yesterday.
Well, Italy too, we'll talk more about them, but right now we are going to have the playing of the national anthems.
Please remain standing for the national anthem of Italy.
So the national anthems have been played, and the players and coaches shake hands here before the final warm-ups. And before we get a look at the referees, the starting fives of the team rosters. So there they are. So the referees from Montenegro, Radomir Vojinovic, Andrada, Monika Sender from Denmark, and Sergei Tchaikovsky from Ukraine. And in this battle for first place in Group C, we're going to look at the rosters, starting off with Hungary. And you've already spoken a lot. We have about Bernadette Hatar. Dorina Zelle down at bottom, really she came off the bench and provided a lot of energy in her part. Agnes Struder was terrific at the guard. Rakshani, perhaps as the captain, can step up a little bit more today. I know that Coach Norbert Sake is looking for something big once again from Yvonne Turner. She's in that starting five, and Zelle is in the starting five today with Hatar, Struder, and Rakshani. And there is Hatar, who, again, 21 points, 11 rebounds, 3 blocks, and all of it was needed. It was really a stunning performance. I mean, it was a revelation to see her come out and contribute across the board the way that she did yesterday. And Shona, for Italy, we were both enamored with the heart and intensity shown by Martina Kriba, number 14.
Yeah, I thought she you know what? She was the game changer for them. She came in off the bench. She didn't necessarily score a lot of points, 7 points. Here you have the starters. So we have Dotto in the lineup. So Tena, Zendelicini, Ginili, and Andre. Dotto, she's the one who went down yesterday and left.
Well, that was her sister. So this is Katerina Dotto, who gets the start today. And we don't know if Francesca's going to play, but Sotana.
She did warm up.
Yeah.
She was warming up. There you saw Sotana, 16 points, 66 free throws. A couple of those came at the end of the game to kind of clutch it. She had a very quiet, disappointing first half. But boy, when she checked in for the injured Dotto, did she ever just take over?
Norbert Sake, well, if he was being realistic and saying that maybe this is going to be a little bit too early for his team, he also stressed the importance of getting results, and boy, did they get a good one yesterday. And Marco Crespi was just so impressed by the resilience and determination of his team and refusal to accept defeat yesterday. So it's almost kind of a mirror image today. These two teams, they really had their backs against the wall yesterday. Maybe Slovenia could have played a little bit better in the key stretches against Hungary, and certainly Turkey could have played better against Italy, but you got to tip your hats to these two teams because they got crucial wins yesterday.
They did, and both of them were down going into, at some point in the fourth quarter near the end of the game. Both these teams were down, and they were able to come back and get a very crucial first win in the tournament. So, this, like I mentioned earlier, this might be the deciding game who finishes that special first position in group and has an automatic bye to the quarterfinals.
Well, hello everybody, and good evening from Niš, Serbia, the third largest city in the country, and really it's been the site of some wonderfully close games. Here we have Italy taking on Hungary, and Sotana picks right up where she left off yesterday.
And I like that. I like that she's come out aggressive. I thought she was just kind of complacent yesterday until the fourth quarter when she decided to take over and get the win for her team.
Hatar down low to Zelle. And that was a weak effort. And now Satana, the captain of Italy, brings it forward, loses control of the ball, but is able to save it and bounce to Andre. Here's Caterina Dotto, and she is fouled. So she will go to the line, and what a story that would be if she came out and had a huge game today, given the opportunity to start. It looked like pretty decent defense there from Hattar. But you know what? If you attack the basket, often you're rewarded.
And if you attack the basket aggressively, if you don't fade away, you're not trying to, avoid the contact. She went in hard. She went into the contact, and like you said, typically you are rewarded. The aggressor is normally the person who is rewarded.
Well, did she go 1 of 2 there at the line? She missed the second one?
Yeah.
So that's it. That's 4. No, that's right, because Satana had the 3. And now the first basket. And it's a big one from Zele. First basket from Hungary. Satana to Andre, who was pretty quiet yesterday, but here she is, starting with a baseline jumper.
She actually played the entire first quarter yesterday, but then only ended up playing 12 plus minutes in the game.
Hattar backs her way up, and she's fouled by Andre. And I think almost, Shona, you could say we've seen the birth of Hungary's new star in this tournament. I mean, she's been around, but at club level for Chopin, for example, at the EuroLeague women. In the EuroLeague women, she doesn't get the minutes.
Yeah.
But here she's playing big minutes for Hungary and producing. Look at that soft release and touch. I mean, it's impressive.
And everyone who is watching, her club coaches, they're following this performance. And the way she plays this summer, if she can continue like she did yesterday, she's going to get more minutes next year.
Chanili misses her attempt and bounces off the shot clock. So that'll be Hungary ball. And as Yvonne Turner inbounds the ball, the one thing I'll say about Yvonne Turner that impressed me about as much as anything yesterday was how she let the game come to her. She didn't force herself.
Yeah, she was really quiet, waiting for her moments, and when they needed it most, though, she did take over.
Rakshani missed from the baseline. Now Satana over to Dotto. And she was fouled by Yvonne Turner. Both of these teams played at the last EuroBasket Women. We saw them in the Czech Republic and Prague. Of course, Courtney Vandersloot played for that Hungary team as their naturalized player. And Giotto gets in and misses. Interesting that Xander Lassini has yet to attempt a shot. Here's Yvonne Turner over to Zele. Zele sets the pick and rolls.
You mentioned
Studer down the lane. And the foul's been called.
That game, the last time these teams played was in 2017. You and I did the game, and Italy came away with a 1-point game, 49-48. Do you think that's on the minds of some of these Hungarian players who were there in 2017?
Well, that was a big game as well.
It was.
It was the qualification. Was it the qualification for the quarterfinal, or was that just in the group?
That was
remember.
Just in the group, but
Okay.
Italy won and moved on after that. Where
Okay.
had Hungary, yeah. So you got to have some bitterness if you're Hungary. A 1-point loss. It wasn't a great game. It wasn't very exciting, I would say, but still.
They did just enough.
Yeah.
To get past that Hungary team. Xander Lassini going up against Rakshani. The baseline off the back of the iron. Good job by Dotto keeping that ball alive. Satana. Zandalicini for three. Andre with the rebound.
Good job rebounding for Italy, giving themselves second chance opportunities.
Cellini again, and Hungary not able to grab the ball. Here is Andre, drives in, she misses another one, and finally Hungary gets the rebound.
And you know that awesome job offensive rebounding, but you can't miss shots like that if you want to win a game, and I'm Italy. And then you go down and you
foul. Yeah.
You know, you had 4 great looks. You want to win at the next level. You want to take the next jump. You know, you want to be having the opportunity to play in an Olympic qualifier. You know, obviously Italy with that heartbreak back in 2017 to Latvia to not go to the World Cup. Those are the things that you can't do. You have to score. Great job rebounding. I think that's great, but you got to hit shots. You got to put points on the board.
So he misses but follows up the shot. It turns out to be a three-point trip down the floor. Nobody boxed her out. You got to step in front of the shooter. Now a reach and a foul called on Hungary. And if that's on Turner, that's number 2. Well, she got tied up with Satana.
Norbert's going to leave her in. He's trying to tell her right now, hey, you know, you have 2, but she's an experienced player. She knows she has 2. You know, when players have to play with fouls, unfortunately, they become less aggressive.
Here's Dotto, pulls it up at the line. Andre, another offensive rebound. Zandalicini passes it back outside to Satana. And then Satana's pass to Zandalicini kind of gets away, and the team's on the ground. The shot clock expires, and it's a turnover. So Italy had the bright start, but right now they're down 9-6.
But they've had opportunities. They're just missing them. They're good shots, and they're giving themselves extra opportunities by offensive rebounding. But you got to convert. You got to make one of them.
3-point attempt from Struder. Now Dotto, ball bounces out to her at the line. And Satana. So I think that is actually
she just came in.
Francesca Dotto. So that's, you know,
that's a great sign.
It is, because yesterday, just if you didn't see it, she had to be stretchered off.
Yeah, you
and
know,
you feared the worst.
You were holding your breath. It didn't look good. Her reaction was not good. Everyone in the gym went silent.
Everybody thought it was. Well, you thought it was a serious, potentially serious hamstring injury. And I think Dotto thought that maybe she had aggravated a hip injury. Yvonne Turner goes out of the game, gets her first breather, and Deborah Dubaye comes in. So it's great to see Dotto back in now, and now a foul called on Satana.
And that's going to be her second as well.
And that's going to bring in the always very impressive Martina Kripa.
So for both teams, Yvonne Turner and Satana, leading scorers from the games yesterday, have to go to the bench with 2 early fouls each.
So Italy stuck on 6 points.
You know, we saw them get off to a really slow start yesterday, and they kind of found their groove later in the first quarter.
And the ball turned over. Dotto has it. Yeah, they haven't scored for 4 minutes now, Italy. They were leading 6-2.
I do think they've had good looks, though.
Yeah, you're right. Zandalicini certainly is getting a lot of attention when she has the ball. Ratchani guarding her out on the perimeter. She puts it up from deep. That's almost kind of forcing it.
Yeah, I don't think that's really the shot that Italy wants. And
Andre now from behind picks up another foul. That's number 2, and Hatard will go to the free throw line. They're in the bonus.
And you know, I questioned yesterday when Zandalacini played the entire first half. We didn't see her go out until in the second half. She played over 37 minutes yesterday. To turn around and to try and have fresh legs less than 24 hours after your last game, it's really difficult. No matter your conditioning level, it's something hard to do. So, you know, we've seen her miss a few shots early here in this contest, and I'm wondering if she is a little bit fatigued.
So there's Hattar going out of the game, and the veteran Dora Horthy comes in. And you know, the more you watch this Hungary team, there's a lot to like about the chemistry, about his substitutions, about the balance of up-and-coming players and some players that have been around. I'd say more important, you know, most important for this team is they seem to have good chemistry. Kaba misses on the baseline. Studer over to Rakshani. And the drive in the basket is good by Rakshani. So she gets her first 2 points. And Crespi has seen enough. He gets a timeout. So with 3:25 remaining, this basket by the captain, Rakshani. And that was oh so close to being a charge, being a block, but in the end, nothing was called. I think the referee did the right thing there.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good call, and it was a good take. You know, Rakshani is typically more known as a three-point shooter, so you have to respect that, and you got to get up close to her. And, you know, if she can kind of develop that part of her game as well, she's going to be incredibly difficult to guard.
I got 2 words for you. Surprise package. That is Hungary right now, because I don't think anybody saw them being as competitive as they are. And they've come out and really given it their best shot here. 4 second chance points, 6 in the paint.
Yeah. We said it yesterday, you know, oh, this Hungarian team, they're kind of, you know, in a transition period, and they brought in some younger talent to see what they could do. Here you see the stats. What a great start for Hungary. I mean, 3-point shots. They've only taken 1 because they're so successful on the inside. And look at Italy. You really can't win a game shooting that kind of percentage. I mean, I think they've done a good job. They have 5 offensive rebounds, but 2 of 12.
Well, if Crespi did anything well yesterday, he did well in his timeouts, because usually when Italy came out of a timeout that they called, and they were a different team, especially from an intensity standpoint. So let's see if we get a different look here from the Azores. And in the game as well. Now here's Zandalacini. It's on the baseline, puts up a tough shot off the top of the backboard. And Kaba gets the offensive rebound and put back. Five on the shot clock. Studer's got to go. Good job. And she goes off 1 foot. Tough shot. Kaba gets the rebound.
That was just, I think, good team defense by Italy there.
Pena. She misses from deep. 1 shot now.
They just can't buy a basket.
Now Studer. And Dora Horthy showing some ball handling there, putting the ball on the deck and getting a trip to the line.
And you know, you talked about how Hungary have brought in a lot of younger talents, but to have Dora Horthy back playing for the national team after, you know, a few years off, starting a family, you saw it yesterday. Maybe statistically nothing jumped out at you, but if you watched the game, you noticed her value. She had points, she had assists, she had 6 rebounds. she just kind of did everything for them, and you notice kind of a calmness when she was on the floor because she settles the younger players, the more inexperienced players around her. She settles them down.
Well, she came in yesterday and immediately scored, and really that was a crucial basket because they were reeling early against Slovenia. That time she draws the youngster Kuba out and goes right past her. Here's Zandalicini. That is much more like it for her going to the basket.
You know, I think Zandalicini has one of the best jump shots in the women's game. Everything about her shot is great. But what do you do when your jump shot's not falling? Every coach tells you, get to the basket, draw a foul, get to the free throw line. Because at the free throw line, you go over your form, you shoot your shot. And I questioned a few of her shots early because I think that it was good defense. She was having to make a tough shot. You know, a contested jump shot is one of the hardest shots in basketball. Right there, she came off, caught the ball at the three-point line, swept, drove hard to the basket. I think she needs to do that a little bit more often, especially early in the game when shots aren't falling for this Italian team from outside.
Missed free throws, but here is a good effort from the youngster Kuba, puts it up and in.
What a great job by Kuba checking into the game. 2 offensive rebounds and 2 putbacks, 4 points for her early. And that's the kind of energy, and you know, coaches always say when your shot's not falling, well, you gotta give us offensive rebounds to give us extra opportunities to score.
Well, here's Horty just taking her to school, just getting inside, but she misses. A good hustle from Dotto, saves it in bounds. Now Rakshani tries to knock it away. Kripa for 3. That's a little long. Von Turner back in. And perhaps a weapon. Oh, just lost it a little bit. Good hands by Italy. These have been good minutes from Kuba, number 19, just 20 years of age. Plays her college basketball at Georgia Tech.
You know, she's kind of that energy player, a little bit like Kripa. She's come in, and I thought she's given them a real energy boost, especially off the bench. They needed some scoring, and that's what she's provided for them early, but she's also not backing down to, you know, a player like Horty, who I'm sure growing up, she knows of this player.
Here's Horty getting it down low and scoring. What else? A tough shot by her. Martina Kripa over to Dotto. Pulls up. And Horty another contribution, another rebound. Von Turner has it. Final seconds ticking off the clock here in the first quarter. And there's the Von Turner. Again, her drive to the basket. She is very difficult to contain. The final seconds ticking off. Dotto gets in the paint, puts it up, and could not have asked for a better shot. Just did not finish. And Italy will be glad to see the end of that quarter and try to regroup. They trail Hungary 18-11.
And here we have the stats, 25% for Italy. They're lucky to even have that. 50% for Hungary. Hungary's done a great job. Look at that, 10 free throws already. They're shooting 80%. Really, Italy, like you said, needs to forget this quarter, come out and start putting the ball in the hoop.
Well, so far for Italy, the going has been tough. This Hungary team, just amazing how they seem to be playing with so much purpose. They're organized. They know what they want. Hatar was okay in that quarter, but really it's everybody. They don't seem to be overly reliant on any one single player. They're all in the right places at the right time, and the score reflects that. They're leading at 18-11. They're getting good looks. They've only attempted 1 3 because, well, they don't need to.
You know what? They're getting to the free throw line. They're able to score inside. So when that can happen, continue to do that. When that's taken away, that's when you start knocking down your three-point shots. I think Hungary's played great in this first quarter. Maybe they missed a couple opportunities early, didn't get a couple box outs on defense. I do think the area that they could improve on is defensively and boxing out.
Second quarter action underway, and Yvonne Turner over to Dubé, and she knocks it in on the baseline.
And you know, very rarely do you see a team that, you know, has 6 people already score in just the beginning of the second quarter, and Hungary's already done that. And like you said, they're very unselfish, and everyone can kind of play their role and do their part, and that's what we're seeing early in this game from Hungary.
See Kuba still in the game. Posting up, remember the Rambling Wreck from Georgia Tech. They'll be watching for Atlanta, her play here. Xantha Lassini, and she
again,
is,
you know, unfortunately that's not going to come up on her stat as an offensive rebound. It'll be a team rebound, but she's the reason that they look at this. It's just her staying after the ball, trying to follow it, and she's the reason they have the ball back right now.
Dotto just over the head of Kuba. Again, just over the head from Studer that time to Varga.
Yeah, you know, it was a good look. It was the right idea. I think she just got a little excited. Maybe she could have taken one dribble and then passed.
Well,
maybe drew the defense a little bit more, because they did miss an opportunity there on a 2-on-1 fast break.
it's a 9-point lead. A deserved 9-point lead at this stage. They are running the show here in Nice against Italy. Italy will play Slovenia in a couple of days. Here's Romeo checking in, the naturalized player from Australia. Xantha Lassini gets it to the paint. She is desperate to get it going. Still cannot. Yvonne Turner rebounds. It goes behind her back and is like a bullet out of a gun up the floor. And then Xantha Lassini hustled down and knocked it away.
Yeah, good job getting back. And you know what? I think this is a good idea. You see Xantha Lassini coming out right now, getting a little bit of a breather, because I think she is forcing it a little bit too much. Then again, I mean, that was also great defense. They forced her into an incredibly difficult shot. So frustrating as it is for her, maybe she just needs to let the game come to her a little bit more right now.
Studer into the corner to Dubé. She'd made one previously, just a little bit shorter than that a couple minutes ago. Good hands, though, from Dora Horty, forcing the turnover. Now Horty going up against Kuba. She gets it back again. Satana reaches in, almost forced it. And now the 3-second violation called on Dora Horty. Bernadette Hatar comes back into the game. She had those 3 double-doubles in the qualifying, and you thought, well, you know, she's got the capacity to do it, but to do it on the stage that she did yesterday against Slovenia, now that was impressive. She nearly misses from deep. Kubat sets the pick, rolls. Chanili pulls up, and
you know, right now, Italy are settling for jump shots, contested jump shots. They haven't had a ton of looks on the inside.
Hathar gets the rebound. Kripa gets in there. What they need right now is some play like that from Kripa. They need something that really will spark them. Well, because right now Hungary are just bossing the show with their defense. You know, not giving away anything.
No, they're not. I think Hungary right now are playing excellent on defense. They're making things very difficult for Italy, but Italy needs to do a better job of, you know what, move the ball.
Well, Hathar flies in for the rebound, and that ball went off of Dubé.
And that's what you're saying. This is what Kripa needs to do. This is the kind of energy that she needs to give her team, right? Defensively and offensively. You know, she's not the biggest scorer for them, but those are the kind of things and the kind of plays that she can do.
Well, the previous trip down the floor, we saw her reach in and tie up, I think it was Hathar, and here she is now forcing the turnover. So maybe she's starting to get into the game herself. Here she is driving in into the corner. Her pass, Chanili over to Romeo. We saw her hit a 3 yesterday. She doesn't mind going off 1 foot. Oh, Turner. What a play, but then she turns it over to Romeo. Now a chance. Will Sutana take it all the way? No, she's going to hold it up. Good job by Hungary to get back on D. Chanili for 3. Good! Finally! Boy, that was a long time coming.
It felt like the last time they hit a shot was Sotana's first shot of the game from the outside. Really, I think they're settling too much for shots on the outside. They need to penetrate. They need to get the ball inside, either in the post, or they need to penetrate from the outside and try and take easier shots.
Oh, Studer just taking what the defense gives her, and that's a layup. Here's Chanili again. That time it was short, but the effort knocks it over to Sutana. She misses. Kripa in there for the rebound. Whips it out to Romeo.
You know, I think Italy needs to do a better job of moving without the ball.
Kripa for 3. Yeah,
a lot of times they're just standing around watching the person who has the ball and waiting for them to make something happen where, you know, start moving. You start the play. It's okay. And again, settling for outside shots. They're not high percentage shots for them at the moment.
Hathar gets blocked by Romeo. And a foul called. Hathar kind of had the ball slip out of her hands.
Yeah.
Hungary right now, looks like Hathar took a shot to the face, she says, but Hungary have both Horthy and Hathar in there, so that is a complicating factor with that size. But Kuba gets in there and gets the rebound. Up to Sutana on the wing. Crespi talked about this Italy team, how they have to play fast if they're going to be successful. The reach by Horthy. Sutana trying to get in, wisely trying to get into the shooting motion, but they're not going to give her free throws.
We saw yesterday, same kind of situation, but she ended up passing the ball.
That's right.
You know, so I think today a little bit more conscious. Oh, you know what? They're going to foul, shoot it.
Well, Romeo turns it over.
I think she just tried to get a little too fancy there because Sutana was wide open on the wing for her.
Good recovery by Kripa to come down and get the steal. Now Romeo over on the in front of the Hungary bench and pulls it up.
I
They are taking their jumpers.
They really are.
Horty spins, goes up against Penna, and bulls her way in and gets an and one.
I mean, they've already shot 15 threes, Italy. They're only 2 of 15, but they're only 3 of 15 from 2. And 2 of those were off of offensive rebounds by Cuba. So there were shots in the paint, and the rest of those shots have been outside shots, Jeff. Like it's not working.
Horty makes it, and Hungary have their biggest lead of the game. So 11 points is the biggest. And Italy in trouble here. They can't get it going on offense, and finally Satana makes a jumper, but
you know, and that was just a mental mistake. And we saw Hatar with a mental mistake yesterday, not getting back. Remember, ball was going to be an over the back. Here, she takes the ball out of bounds, and then here you'll see it. She actually has the ball out of bounds, and she goes to pass it, but walks inside. And it's a travel.
I can honestly say like I have never seen that one.
Really?
I've never
yeah.
seen that one.
So you can't cross over the line.
And Zandalicini punishes immediately with a jump shot. So that could be indeed a momentum-changing play, as Italy now trail by just 7. Horty going right at Penna. Just such a smart player. You know, Horty knows, she senses she's got an advantage, and she's going to town.
Yeah. I mean, she has an advantage. She has a height advantage. She has a strength advantage. But she also has an experience advantage. And she knows that, you know, the Penna trying to guard her is not an easy task. Andre, young player, plays in Schio, not a lot of minutes, hasn't played a lot of minutes for this Italian team. She's just taking advantage of her opportunity, and it's because of that, it's experience coming out.
Well, misses 2 there. So a break for Italy, and they need a break. On the baseline, Zandalicini had just hit one there. Hatar with the rebound. And ball batted out of bounds. It was batted by Cuba. So it'll be Turner inbounding of the 16 on the shot clock. Here she is again, not forcing things today. Doesn't need to. Hatar turns, and good job from Cuba getting a hand in the face.
Yeah, that was great defense by Cuba.
And Studer there reaches in, and Zandalicini playing with a little bit of fire, dribbling like that in front of the point guard from Hungary. So the impressive Studer, she had a really good game yesterday. Picks up the foul. Penna.
Another outside jump shot. It was a good shot. She was open. That shot, I don't mind. It wasn't contested, but still, one of the hardest shots in the game is a pull-up jump shot.
Studer fakes. Okay, now it's going to be Turner. And good job boxing out there by Cuba. And interesting, you know, this Hungary team has been on top, but they have not lowered the boom. And you just wonder maybe if Italy might finally get it going here.
We did see so many times yesterday. Italy were down, and then it was the second part of the quarters that they started to come back, find their rhythm a little bit. But I agree, watching this game, you feel like Hungary should be up.
2 minuti 19 con la testa. L'importante è che finiamo, vinciamo questi 2 minuti di 2 punti. Enough that we win these 2 minutes and 19 by 2 points. Enough that.
Not necessarily from post players, you know, but what I mean by scores inside the paint is I want their guards to be aggressive and try to attack the stage with the dribble or with cuts, and then you look at that. You're not hitting the outside, you want to start on the inside or from the free throw line and then build out. And Italy are just not doing that at the moment, but to only be down 7 points, I think they're
possession.
lucky.
Yeah.
I really think they're lucky that they're even in this position right now.
You know, you might say that's because of the inexperience of Hungary to be able to take advantage of that great start that they had. I mean, they were dictating tempo. They were forcing Italy into tough shots, or at least shots.
I think they've done an excellent job on Zandalicini individually, defensive-wise. You know, Zandalicini, she's only 1 for 8, 3 points. But they've also given up offensive rebounds to Italy. Italy has 11 offensive rebounds already in this game. That's enormous. I mean, to have most people get that throughout an entire game, 11, and they have it with 2 minutes remaining in the second quarter. So as good as their defense has been, Hungary, they're not finishing the play. You always say you want to finish your defensive possession, and doing that means getting the defensive rebound, and they haven't done that.
Kripa rather gets it over Zandalicini. Now Romeo, she thought about launching it. Here she is, she's open, she's gonna launch it, and hey, wherefore art thou, Romeo? There you are. Now it's a 4-point game, incredibly. Great EuroBasket women, this is turning out to be. And now it's called the FIBA Women's EuroBasket. I think they changed these names to keep us on our toes. Zandalicini.
Nike FIBA Women's EuroBasket. Sponsored.
Chinini. Go! Good! It's Chinini with the 3-pointer, and unbelievably, Italy down 1. And now all the momentum with them. And the confidence.
Absolutely incredible. But you know what? That started by a penetration. They were more aggressive to the basket. You see there by Zandalicini. And you know, maybe these women watch Steph Curry and Klay Thompson a lot and realize, you know what? We're shooters. What do shooters do? They keep on shooting until they start to go in.
Well, Chinili had, she was 1 of 4 before that one, so she's now 2 of 5. And Norman Sakay taking his team to task now. You see the rebounding, and Italy incredibly have a 2-rebound advantage and 11 on the offensive board.
I mean,
although one of them, you know, maybe that's a bit skewed because there was one time where they had about 4 offensive rebounds and they didn't score. You remember?
They're very lucky to only be down 1 while shooting 26%.
Well, the other thing is that Hungary, the well has been dry for them now for quite some time. They haven't scored since the 3:55 mark.
And this is where, after a timeout, if I'm Coach Norbert for Hungary, I kind of want the ball in the hands of Yvonne Turner near the end of the play. I want to see her coming off a couple screens and then receiving a non-ball either from Hatar or Horty.
Oh, it is so difficult. Maybe Hatar is going to get more touches now. She's been not a great factor today. Is Yvonne Turner fouled by Kripa.
And that's exactly, you know, what they did. You saw Yvonne Turner set a down screen and then came off a cross screen from Hatar there. And this is the person who needs the ball in their hands because she's incredibly fast. It's difficult for anyone to guard.
That is not a bad foul, obviously, because they had one to give. But anymore, and Crippa that time almost nudged her out of bounds. Shot clock down to 1. Struder has to launch it from a long way out, and it did not hit the rim. So the shot, and there's Stojan Ivkovic, the coach of the Hungary men's team, and also works at the federation, so he's living and dying on every shot. He's even got his shoes off.
It's hot in here. He's stressed.
He's not the only one. Janili. Zandalicini fouled as she makes her move by Ratchani, and it has just been a very difficult last 3.5 minutes for this Hungary team. They have gone south offensively, and defensively, those shots that they were giving up to Italy, well, now Italy are making them. Although Italy, they look like they're getting their shots more in the flow as well.
A little bit more movement after a few passes. Yeah, later in the shot clock.
Romeo again off 1 foot and hits it. And Italy have charged back to take the lead.
Romeo just likes to be on the highlight reel. I think she wants to make the top 5 plays at the end of every game here in this tournament.
And the pass, the turnover, Crippa's got to launch it and doesn't have enough time, but Italy will settle for that. They have gone from trailing by 11 points to, with this shot from Romeo, taking the lead at halftime. Once again, Romeo from Adelaide, South Australia, puts the Italians in front. Forza Italia.
I really, you know, Jeff, 26-25 for Italy. Who would have guessed after 19 minutes and 45 seconds of watching this first half that Italy would be at 1 point going into the half? And here we have the stats, 30%. So Italy have crept up a little bit. Hungary did a great job, 47%, but like you said, they just kind of went dry. And I think a big emphasis has to be the 11 offensive rebounds. Hungary cannot allow a team to get 11 offensive rebounds in one half. Here are the leaders. We have Chanili. She's actually the one person who has hit a couple shots from outside, 2 threes. Porti, the veteran for Hungary, with 6 points. Tatar only 4 points so far. So we'll see if we can maybe, you know, we talked so much about Yvonne Turner and Bernadette Tatar from Hungary, and they've kind of been quiet so far, but so was Yvonne Turner yesterday in the game, and she ended up being their leading scorer and getting that big win for them.
Well, lots of talking points. Before we go, we'll go ahead and say that Latvia have gotten their first win. They're hosting Group A up in Riga, and they bounced back from their defeat to Great Britain to beat Ukraine. So Ukraine now in an 0-2 hole because they lost to Spain. And also Belarus, with many a veteran, have trailed but come from behind to lead Belgium by 11 points with about a minute to go in that one. So this is shaping up to be a very exciting and unpredictable FIBA Women's EuroBasket. We'll be right back before the start of the second half. Italy lead it over Hungary, 26-25.
Pupa reverses one more, and Lorenz is wide open. Count it.
How about that from Romeo? Turner drives in. Oh, that's been their favorite spot on the court.
Jovic steps back. Ooh. off the glass for two. Beautiful move.
Petrovic trying to finally put them to bed, and does. Petrovic brings this crowd to its feet.
(26-25) Italy on top of Hungary here at the FIBA Women's EuroBasket 2019 in Nice. And Hungary had it their own way for most of the first half, went up by 11 points. But then they started to go cold, and the cold shooting Italy started to heat up a little bit. and they charged back and have taken the lead. You know, still quite a few twists in the tail in this one. 20 minutes to go, Shona, but I think it just illustrates that all bets are off in this group. I mean, you know, it's just a very even group, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it really is. We said this yesterday. We said this today earlier. I don't know who's going to finish first, and I don't know who's going to finish fourth, and I think it's going to be incredibly tight to figure out the 4 teams in this group. You know, Hungary, I think, lets a lead disappear a little bit. You know, they gave up 11 offensive rebounds to a team that wasn't shooting the ball well. So if you can finish your defensive play by grabbing the defensive rebound, you put yourself in a much better place. But on top of that, Hungary also turned the ball over 9 times. So those are not good statistics when you look at them. 11 offensive rebounds they let Italy take and 9 turnovers. It's kind of, you know, watching the game, you thought Hungary should be up more. And then when you get the opportunity to look at the stats during halftime, you kind of say, okay, well, I know why Italy now is up 1.
Well, plenty of time to turn things around for Hungary and also for Italy. They know they've got a lot of work to do, but the winner of this game will be in first place at the end of the night, since both of these teams won their openers. Hungary coming from behind to beat Slovenia, and Italy also coming from behind, although that game was much closer from start to finish, beating Turkey. Turkey earlier today losing to Slovenia, so Slovenia right now at the top of the group at 1-1 because they look at it in terms of points. You get that point for a loss and 2 points for a win, but the winner of this team, the winner of this game will leapfrog them into first place. And then we'll have the rest day tomorrow. And really one other thing just to remember, the top six teams in this tournament will go to FIBA Olympic qualifying tournaments next summer. So you want to keep the Olympic dream alive, you need to finish in the top 6. Second half underway in Nice at the FIBA Women's EuroBasket. Hungary trailing by 1. They've got the ball. Bernadette Hattar perhaps going to be a little more influential, but called for an early 3-second violation. Got to get her the ball if she's posted up.
You know what? I think right away, I thought they did a good job. I thought it was a well-run play, and she was demanding the ball, and they couldn't get it to her. So it's kind of the guard's fault.
And Andre, looked like Turner may have put her off her shot a little bit.
She came from behind and got the block, actually. And you know, as good as Turner is on offense, she has incredibly quick hands on defense as well, and she does disturb a lot of people defensively.
Now the dump to Hattar, and didn't catch it. Romeo now. Zandalicini pulls up on the break. Hasn't really played like an All-Star 5 member tonight, but you know, you're not going to play like that every night, are you? She made the All-Star 5 at the last
She averaged
EuroBasket.
19 points a game in 2017 at the EuroBasket.
And that was
All-Star 5, yeah, so she did get a hand on the block. You know, that was a block for Turner there. Zandalicini, I mean, that's a lot to live up to.
Mosele gets in. She sparked him in the second half last night, and here she is going hard to the basket. Getting to the free throw line. Kobaya comes back into the game.
Who I thought in the first half, she did a great job for them coming off the bench. 2 offensive rebounds, 2 putbacks as well, much needed points, but just defensively, I thought she did a good job on Hattar.
Sele brings those positive vibes, that real sense of drive, literally gets the drive, then gets her the 2 fouls, or the foul, the 2 free throws. Satana back to Zandalicini. Puts it up at the line. That's Zandalicini. And that's Yvonne Turner. And again, she gets the contact and goes to the line.
And that's going to be the third foul on Sotana, I believe. You know, we saw her get too early in the first quarter, and she had to go to the bench for quite some time. So, I mean, do you, you know, as a coach, do you leave her in and risk her getting her fourth early in the third quarter?
Well, you got to have a feel for your players, I guess, knowing what they can do.
And Sotana's a veteran. I mean, she's played with fouls before. She knows that she has 3 fouls. But like I said earlier in the game, when we saw Yvonne Turner and Sotana have to go to the bench with 2 early fouls, they just don't play as aggressively on offense and on defense.
So Turner puts Hungary back in front. Zandalicini going right at Rakshani again. Passes it back outside. Cuccinelli now gets it back.
And to me, that's not good offense. I mean, I thought Zandalicini had the ball a little bit too much in her hand without any movement. And we've seen this time and time again from Italy. I saw it yesterday, and I've seen it today. They're just so much better doing that.
Romeo all the way to the hoop.
But when they have movement, when they move, a lot of times they just sort of settle for bringing the ball up and going and setting a screen. There's no movement, there's no cuts, there's no down screens, flare screens, back screens. They just kind of go into an on ball and everyone stands around to watch.
Rakshani out to Zelle. Studer steps back for 3. Oh, it was long. And the ball goes off the hands of Kubai, and it's going to be Hungary ball.
I think Coach Crespi might be asking, can you not video replay that?
You can only do it later.
Oh no, here's the fast break layup by Romeo.
Satana gets the miss. Zandalicini again. Back outside.
And that, for me, was better offense. I know they started with an on-ball screen, but it was kind of in a semi-transition. She used it, didn't have anything new that, but still dribble penetrated, got the kick. You had a 1-pass, 2-pass, attack, kick out, extra pass, open shot. To me, that's okay. That's good offense by Italy.
Well, another turnover. The foul. So Rakshani, who's got the task on defense of guarding Zandalicini, that time picks up an offensive foul. Satana pulls up and sees the 3-point attempt hit in front of the back of the rim and stay up. Kubai gets the rebound. Zandalicini. Oh, that was a brick. Now Turner. Zelle drives in. Great play by Zandalicini to swat, and also the good position by Kubai.
Come over and help. That was great defense by both of them, actually.
.12 on the shot clock. Turner inbounds it, and here is Zelle, and no. Oh, and she missed the layup incredibly. I would have put money on her making that. Zandalicini from the left.
And again, I think I'm an enormous fan of Zandalicini. I think her game is beautiful to watch. She's athletic. Her shot is one of the best shots I've seen. But right now, she is settling way too much for outside shots and tough contested jump shots. And trust me, she has the speed. She has the athleticism to go, to attack the basket. And right there, your outside shots haven't been falling. I know she was open from three. I know she could knock down those shots. But I think she should have shot faked, wait for a closeout, and attacked.
Well, I think Crespi must have the same opinion as you because he's taken her out.
And I mentioned yesterday, I was worried about how her playing more than 37 minutes on the first night of a back-to-back,
Oh, they
how
get
she
it
was
to
going to do.
Hattar. Puts it up and in. Good drive by Studer. And finally, they're able to get it to their center in a position where she simply is not going to miss.
No, you know, she's someone who shot 67% during the qualifiers. And then now she just gets a silly foul, though. Only her first foul. You know, she shot 67% during the qualifiers to qualify for this tournament for Hungary, the best amongst all the players who played. So she doesn't miss a lot if you give her the ball in a good opportunity and a good position to score.
So Studer laid it on a platter that time. Now, Cinelli, it's a three, another one for her. So Cinelli now with 3 3-pointers. Studer tries to get it right back, but stays out. However, Hattar battles both teams going for the ball, and it's Romeo that hits it into the direction of her teammate, Penna. And Italy come up with the ball and a 2-point lead. Cinelli again. A little bit long. She's feeling it, obviously.
She is. She was 1 of 2 yesterday from 3. So obviously she's a good 3-point shooter, but I really think she's a big reason why they're in this game. She had 2 threes in the first half when they couldn't buy a basket.
And Romeo reading the pass, the skip pass. But really, Cinelli, all 9 of her points have come from 3-point range tonight. Which is not surprising because the Italians themselves, they've put up a lot of threes tonight. I think some of them have to go in.
Yeah, you know, they're only 5 of 22. Not a great percentage.
Studer into the lane, puts it up and doesn't finish. And Romeo over to Satana.
I mean, they were 7 of 21 yesterday for the game, so they've already shot more threes, and there's still 14 minutes left in this game.
Penna for 3.
And another 3. So you kind of, you know, I don't know if that's the shots that they believe that they're being given from the defense, but
It's kind of keeping Hungary in the game.
exactly.
Turner over to Studer. Because eventually Hungary are going to find their rhythm again, and free throws are coming.
I just, you know, I can't stress it enough. I think that Italy are relying too much on the 3, on these outside jump shots, difficult, like they're not falling. They have to realize that those shots aren't falling, and they're a lot better after, you know, 2, 3, 4 passes, some penetration, some aggressiveness to the basket.
But Romeo sits down. I thought that was a good quarter for her. Good 6.5 minutes, and Dato has returned to the floor. Francesca Dato. And now timeout has been called, so the players retreat to the benches.
You know, this isn't a bad timeout for Italy because I think it gives Coach Crespi an opportunity to talk to him, because he has to know. His assistants are telling him we're relying way too much on the 3-point shot. They're not falling. It's different when you're hitting your 3. But when you're shooting under 20% from 3, you got to think about other opportunities, other ways to score. And they haven't found that yet.
Right there, look at the numbers. Hungary can't throw it in the ocean from 3-point range. And Italy,
I mean, they've only
one
shot
goes in
4
every so
free
often.
throws. So it shows you how not aggressive they are. I think, you know, how many times you get to the line is a very good indicator about how aggressive your team is.
Absolutely.
And Italy aren't being aggressive because they're settling for outside shots. And I don't necessarily think it's because that's what Hungary is giving them. I think that's what Italy is deciding to do.
Settling for or deciding, yeah.
Exactly.
I don't think it's more of the decision. I think they can knock them in.
Yeah.
Well, Hungary had the biggest lead in the game at 11 points. But it is all tied right now, 33-33. It was 26-25 at halftime for Italy. And anybody's ball game right now. Francesca Dato. Remember, she left last night's game late with an injury, but her team rallied without her and beat Turkey.
See, I like this. I like this movement.
And great read by Turner. Knocks it away, but then Chinelli stops it. But then, what was that, a kicked ball?
Yeah, I think the ball went off her foot. Here, we'll see. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. She stuck it in. Good spot by the referee.
But you know what? It actually turned out good because Hungary were going to have a fast break opportunity. So...
They restart the shot clock on that?
Yeah, on a kick ball.
Okay. So...
No, sorry, they don't restart the shot clock. Unless it's under 14 and a kickball happens, then you go back up to 14. If it's between 14 and 24, the shot clock stays at wherever it was called.
Okay. Looks like they started at 24 again. Here's Studer. Porty battling. Studer comes up with it. Back to Turner.
And you just wonder when Turner's going to start to take over like we saw her do yesterday.
Italy sagging defensively into the lane to try to cut off that penetration, but they still can't stop her.
You know, I actually thought that was pretty good defense by Italy, forcing Turner into spin move, jump shot, but she still made it. Like, that's how talented she is.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to. She's got the capacity, the ability to make that type of shot.
See, right now, there's just so many passing around the outside. There's nothing towards the basket for Italy. We literally had 4 players standing around the three-point line. I love the ball reversal. Everyone touched it, but there was nothing towards the basket. There was no aggressiveness towards the basket.
And the difference being at the previous trip for Hungary, even though Italy were trying to clog the paint, Hungary were determined to get it in. Zandalicini on the baseline puts up an air ball.
And it wasn't just that there was no one penetrating. You also didn't have anyone cut to the basket.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to guard. They didn't make Hungary move.
Oh, good pick from Penna to take it away from Turner. And then Studer almost gets it right back. Good job by Dato. Dato, this time she penetrates but passes it back out. Well, she's stepping into that three, Zandalicini, and there is a great play by Dato to rebound, but again, we saw it yesterday as well. She gets in there, but she's not thinking basket. She's not thinking layup at all. She's passing it back outside.
And you see Coach Crispy, you guys didn't quite catch it on camera, but you saw him talking to Zandalicini, and he was, you know, just jump into your shot, follow through. So everyone has confidence on her. Anyone who knows women's basketball knows the name Zandalicini in Europe. So she is an excellent shooter. Tonight's just not her night.
Well, Dato a little bit out of control, loses it out of bounds. And feeling a little bit of a recovery now from Hungary. With 1.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter, starting to get their mojo back. Turner, though, taking a seat, taking a break. Deborah Dubé back in, she catches it. Varga also back in the game, number 10. Shot clock down to 5. Porty has to go to work. And boy, does she ever. Hungary back in front by 4 now. Now a bump by Varga. So 14 fouls now on Hungary. Any more and they'll be over the limit. Well, they have really focused their defensive attack on Zandalicini. think they've won that battle. Here's Penna. Puts up the air ball. Dubé with the rebound. Italy
Again,
losing their way and continuing to settle for the long-range shot. Horty inside and earns a trip to the line, and that just illustrates it right there, doesn't it? If you make the commitment to go hard to the basket, good things are going to happen.
you are typically rewarded. Either you score or you draw a foul or something good happens, and that's what we've seen from Horty these last 2 possessions. And why are Hungary up right now? Because they're going to the post, because they're attacking the basket. They're aggressive. They just look more aggressive than Italy. And, you know, we said this at the end of the second quarter. I was very surprised, and I thought Italy were lucky to be up 1. I think they are even more lucky to only be down 6 with last possession, and possibly they can cut that lead even more.
Well, Italy should have the last shot. Satana finally drives, puts up, almost gets it to go, but a little bit of time for Hungary here. Brekshani has it. She's going to launch it and graze the outside of the net. So at the end of 3 quarters, Hungary have moved back into the ascendancy. It's 39-33 over Italy.
The stats after 3 quarters: Hungary shooting 46%, again Italy 28%, and only 20% from 3. Hungary haven't been able to put it in from deep, but they haven't need to. Look, they've gone to the free throw line 21 times compared to 4 times for Italy. You know, they're scoring inside the paint, and that's why they're up right now by 6.
Time and time again, Italy settling for the jumpers. Hungary making the commitment to go inside. Maybe Coach Marco Crespi is just going to make a big change here in the 4th quarter and change tactics. Or maybe he'll stick with it and a lot of those shots will start falling. Italy certainly not out of it, just down 6 points. But after a couple of very difficult, well, about a very difficult 15 minutes for Hungary, they seem to have regained the initiative. And with 10 minutes remaining, gosh knows, they must be thinking we're 10 minutes away from going 2-0. And who would have predicted that before the start of this FIBA Women's EuroBasket?
Yeah, you know, Jeff, Hungary have 14 turnovers as well. They had 9.5, so they didn't really do much better of a job, but they went to what worked on offense. So far, we have not seen Italy do that, and that's why they are down 6 points. Italy need to attack the basket. They need to be aggressive if they want to try and win this game.
Well, Dato starts here in the 4th quarter with Satana, Kubai, Chanili, and Zandalasini, who puts it up and draws the foul from Dubé. Deborah Dubé.
That was better movement, a little bit better aggressiveness by Italy, but still I think they can do better.
Well, maybe Zandalasini, I was going to say maybe she can get her game going as she sees the ball fall through the hoop at the free throw line, but even that stays out. And it's just been a tough old game for her. Just 5 points through the first 3 quarters. Zandalasini just 2 of 15 from the floor, 0 of 5 from 3-point range, and only a rebound and an assist. And a -6 efficiency. That tells you all you need to know. She is in negative territory. Horty falling down. Looked like she was getting ready to post up. Struder puts it up. And Zandalicini with the board. Time is go time now for Zandalicini. She crosses midcourt, and this time she does take it all the way, but almost forced it.
And you know what? I talked about it earlier. She played 37+ minutes yesterday. I questioned
Dubé for three.
their first three of the game. So, you know, if Hungary are going to start hitting shots from outside, I think Italy are going to be in a lot of trouble right now.
That's the first three-pointer for Hungary, and it takes the lead up to 8 points. Satana takes the bump, and clearly it looks like the message from the bench in between quarters was go to the rack.
And here we see Kripa coming in for Zandalicini, and you know, I think Zandalicini is tired. I think she's tired, but I also think mentally she's very frustrated with how she's played so far. And you're seeing that. You're seeing it in her expression. You're seeing it in her body language. I think it's a good job letting her go out, kind of catching her breath, breathing a little bit. You know, everyone knows she's better than this. She knows she's better than this.
And it's good to see Kripa back in because you know, she's got that ability to spark this Italy team. Just with her sticking her nose where it's not wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. She is the kind of person who does anything to help her team win, and that's what they need right now.
Corti with the foul, and the turnover now into the hands of Yvonne Turner. Looks like they've really got that naturalized selection right with Yvonne Turner.
Yeah, it was Gore who has played many years in Hungary.
Well, three-pointer no good, but the rebound. Shini's going to get another attempt, and this time it's good. And I'll tell you what, that's a good shooter. She misses one, and she wants it right back.
You know, I've been waiting for her. She didn't shoot the ball well yesterday. She is known as a three-point shooter, and you can't leave a three-point shooter open, even if they haven't hit shots.
Now Satana answers, and perhaps it's just the sense of desperation, just improving that concentration just that little bit more.
I mean, it's only an 8-point game. And trust me, Italy to be down only 8 points, they're lucky.
Yeah.
But you know what? At around this mark yesterday, they were down. You know, it took them, it was well into the fourth quarter for them to kind of get the lead and pull away and end up winning the game yesterday.
Well, it could be Georgia Satana time. Anyway, timeout on the floor. And Hungary had equaled their biggest lead of 11. But now it's 45 to 37. After the Satana three.
E lasciare i tiri da tre o in contropiede buttarsi. Perché vincere di 2 è meglio che vincere di 1, ma anche perdere di 4 è meglio che perdere di 5. Ok? Non si perde la testa e si difende e non si lascia i tiri da 3 perché in 3 andiamo sulla palla dei rimbalzi. Ok? In attacco adesso facciamo giochi corti, Giorgio. Giochi corti solo.
Isolate pick and roll. If you can use the isolation pick and roll, go until the
free throws. Again, indicative of how they have attacked the paint. You see the assistant coach leaning over the bench and communicating with Yvonne Turner. That assistant coach with the ponytail is Dalma Ivanyi, and one of the all-time great Hungarian players. A staple of the EuroLeague women, now in the coaching ranks. She'll also be an assistant at the Under-19 World Cup that's coming up.
And you know,
Thailand.
Which we will be at.
We will be indeed. Nice work if you can get it.
we saw those stats, and Italy have shot 20 more times, 20 more field goal attempts than Hungary. I mean, Hungary have turned the ball over 14 times, that's why also, but they've also, Hungary gave up a lot of offensive rebounds in the first half, 11 to Italy. So Italy are getting their chances, they're just not knocking them down.
Racciani puts it up again.
Zandalicini's back in for Italy, and let's see if she can get something going.
Satana, she gets in the paint, puts up a runner. I think she's the key. She was the key yesterday in the fourth quarter, and here she is. She's twice now scored and got it back to 6 points deficit.
And you know, to win any basketball game, I keep talking about this, you need to get consecutive stops while also getting consecutive scores.
Oh, beautiful pass to Bay, and also Horty takes the contact and scores. Kube with the foul.
You know, we talked so much about Qatar coming into this game because she was absolutely phenomenal yesterday, but we also talked about the experience of Horty yesterday for them. I thought she was absolutely great, but tonight, she's kind of, you know, taking back time. This is old Dora Horty that people have seen in the past. 13 points, 6 rebounds for her, a couple assists. She's been the difference maker in this second half. I think in the third quarter when they needed scores, they went into the paint with her and she was aggressive and either getting to the line or scoring.
Kube with the rebound, keeping it alive. Now Zabalicini. Over to Chinili and fouled by Rakshani, so she goes to the line.
For 3 points, and you know, it's so important when you're down. Here you see the Hungary coach talking to the ref, asking, you know, where was the foul? And I think he was trying to say she kind of undercut her, and you got to let the shooter land.
Yeah, I hate that
yeah,
when the
it's so
defensive
dangerous.
player comes
It's so
over you.
scary, you know, as a player, when you shoot and you see someone coming and you know that they're underneath you when you're about to land. So yeah, you know, if you're a team near the end of the game and you're down, the best thing and the thing that you want to do is you want to stop the clock and you want to get to the free throw line. So you want to be on the score at the same time while the clock is stopped. And this is what you have to do. You have to be aggressive. You have to go to the basket. You have to stop the clock and get to the free throw line while you're down late in the game.
Oh, great poise by Chinili to go to the line and make all 3 free throws. Back to 6 points. And of course, this factor looms large as well. Yvonne Turner, you know she can turn it on if needed. Right now would probably be the time for that to happen. She's got it, it's shaking and baking. She's gonna put up the 3 and nails it for the 2nd consecutive game. She comes out in the 4th quarter and starts to hit big 3-pointers.
It's almost like she just waits because she likes the suspense. She does it for the fans, the Hungarian fans.
Satana again puts it up. Did not go to the basket.
No, again, they're not aggressive. You need to go to the basket when you're down. You need to try and draw fouls.
Again, Turner that time had it rim out.
Right now, you got to push the ball, maybe, you know, an on-ball screen in transition with a little bit of pace, but you got to get to the basket. Look at, I mean, Satana just missed.
Oh, now finally, and Kube missed the layup. She had it in the perfect position. Maybe that's why they don't go inside. I think the ball might have just slipped out of her hands.
But you know, when I say going inside, it doesn't have to be from the post player. It also needs to be guards. Your outside shots aren't falling, so what do? How else can you win again? You got to get easy baskets and easy shot opportunities, and this is what Italy is not doing in this game.
Well, Satana puts up a 3. She says, I don't care what you're saying, Shona. I'm going to chuck it up there and make it.
I'm not saying Italy cannot score from outside. I'm saying it's not happening for them today. So how do you win a game when your shot's not falling from outside?
Go to plan B. There you go.
And the good teams can do that. And that's kind of what separates, you know, the good teams from the average teams.
They can adjust. Dubé, her 3 will not count. Foul was called before that. Tell you what, I think these referees have done a great job in this group. There have been no issues whatsoever.
No, you know, we haven't seen coaches upset, really.
No.
Of course, coaches get emotional as well as players do, but that's kind of heat of the game. But you haven't seen really any big...
Oh, what a pass. What the penetration. Qatar was there.
I mean, if Yvonne Turner hadn't drawn the foul there, it would have been a 2 points because it was a beautiful pass, a nice cut by Hattar to be in scoring position. Look at this.
Wow.
With the left hand.
Hattar, oh, makes a terrific catch. Dubé there from the corner, misses. I'm sure Hungary couldn't have got a better look than that.
Yeah, they still had 7 seconds left on the clock. I'm not sure that's the shot that they really wanted with this kind of a lead.
Into the corner, Kripa, and Turner rebounds it into the hands of her center.
And again, I mean, I know Kripa was open for 3. It looked good.
Shooter has it. Shot clock down to 5. She's going to launch it. And great defense from Kubaya. Now Satana, it's 1-on-3, nowhere to go, and really...
she got very, very lucky.
Yeah, she was bailed out by that. So that will be foul number 5, so she will go to the line, I think. Look at this. Because she had already, it looked like she had already almost lost the ball before the contact. So Varga picks up the foul. Italy have a pulse, folks. It's been an almighty struggle. And Satana, well, she can't play perfect basketball, that's for sure. She's been tough in the fourth quarter, though, both nights. And makes the second. Get it back to a 5-point game. Turner with the no-look pass now to Hattar. And Zandalicini trying to guard the much taller Hattar. Wraps her up and puts her on the free throw line.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a tough assignment here. It's a good call by the ref. I mean, a nice job by Varga also, because then the ref started to look because the ball was going into Hattar, so he, you know, was easily able to find that. And they're in bonus also.
Again, that soft release. So impressive by Hattar, who hasn't had to be the same type of contributor that she was last night. Because Horty particularly was really effective tonight. She's got a team-high 13 points. Zandalicini pulls up in the paint and draws the foul. She'll go to the line. And Norbert Sake, the Hungarian coach, pleading with the referee not to make that call. Here it is, though. Oh, she's got her.
Yeah,
she's got her
it was
hand
actually
on.
almost...
Perfect
she got
call.
fouled twice.
Yeah, she did. She got her on the right arm as she went up.
They could have called it earlier on the dribble, and then she also got fouled again on the shot. So
and just like that, well, I guess you could say, well, you've got a player like Zandalicini, even on the night she has had her biggest struggles as an Italy player. You've always got a chance. And with 3 minutes and 13 seconds left, there's plenty of time.
absolutely. And you know what? Considering how tough tonight has been, wouldn't you just love Zandalicini to take over these last 3 minutes for Italy?
I think you have to have the ball in Turner's hands here if you're Hungary, and now let her go to work. Penetrate. Nope. Varga back to, oh, what a play, Hattar! And great penetration by Varga.
Yeah, you know, I think it's a great job because she passed up the shot. She was aggressive, and we said this earlier in the game. If you get Hattar the ball in a place, a good pass, in a place where she can shoot, she's very effective, and that's what they did.
And she makes it. Tell you what, she's not far off from a double-double again. She's now got 10 points.
And, you know, 10 points, considering it's been a very slow night for her.
Here it is from the corner. And Satana.
I know you're down 6 points, but 2 minutes and 35 seconds is a lot of time left. And she has hit a couple threes in this fourth quarter, but again, I just feel like when teams rely on the three-point shot so much.
Oh, Hungary and Rakshani.
And the last 2 plays, Italy have given up and ones. You cannot do that when you're down and you're trying to fight back. I mean, if you're gonna foul, you have to foul hard so they can't score. And this is just kind of mental breakdowns. I feel like Italy has had mental breakdowns all game. And now, finally, they're really paying for it.
Adesso, ascoltate, Pollice e Storchi attacca di qui. Qui c'è
Look at the shooting numbers tonight,
qui
and
c'è
it is going
Crippi, scusa, Cinini.
make the hair on the back of their neck stand up.
Se non c'è niente, c'è Crippa e c'è il blocco di là, ok? Ci siamo. Ma non canestro più fallo ogni volta. Ragazzi, è importantissima la differenza. E noi facciamo canestro più fallo 3 volte di fila. Non ci siamo già arresi.
Vince la troppo.
When your three-point shots aren't really falling, they've only taken 5 more two-pointers, and they have 3.
Look at that stat right there. 24 points in the paint for Hungary, just 6 for Italy.
Yeah, I mean, but you have your veteran Horty coming off the bench for Hungary, who I think was just stellar for them in the third quarter. And let's talk about Italy's stats a little bit. 10 of 35. A lot of those 35 shots from 2, they're not layups. They're not shots inside. They're not shot attempts inside the paint, inside the key. They're outside shot attempts as well, just like threes. And a lot of them are kind of contested pull-up jumpers, which I keep repeating and I keep saying it's one of the hardest shots in basketball.
Well, there's a little bit of a mountain to climb now for Italy, down 58-49 with 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go here, and a foul from Studer. That is not what they need, because as you said, it stops the clock, puts the other team on the free throw line. And that's a good call by the ref, I think. I mean, you can understand why he makes the call.
Yeah. I think Sotana did a good job of selling it a little bit, but to me it was a foul. I mean, she was riding her the entire time.
So clock is stopped and Sotana makes the first one.
Italy don't need to foul. They need to get a stop, they need to get a rebound, they need to get a quick score. It doesn't have to be a 3. I want to see them be aggressive, I want to see them go to the basket, maybe draw another foul again. But right now, the most important thing is they need to get a stop, they need to play good defense, and they need to get the defensive rebounds.
Hungary, meanwhile, more than happy to use up most of the time on the shot clock. Turner pulls up. That would have been a dagger. She'd made it. And Hatar, that's what you would call almost a dagger rebound. But the possession arrow will go to I thought it was to Italy, but it's going to be to Hungary.
And I talked right before this. I said you got to play good defense and you got to get the defensive rebound. And that's not what they did there. Crippa did a great job trying to tie up the ball, which she did. But they didn't get the rebound. You need to get rebounds. If you want to win a game in this tournament, you have to play defense. You have to get your defensive rebound. But how many times did we see Hatar late in the game yesterday do exactly that?
Yeah, it wasn't her scoring. It was her rebounding, getting to the loose ball.
Yes.
Studer has it. Shot clock to 4. Turns, puts up a tough shot, and this time Satana's tied up, and it will be Italy possession on the possession arrow. So, all things considered, I guess Italy have to be happy at least they can go. Try to get closer here. Look at this. Studer alertly snuck in there and tied her up. And Satana puts up one from inside the arc, and the ball rebounded.
And that's just, you know, I know Sotana's a great shooter. She's a great scorer. We saw it yesterday. She was so clutch for them in their win. You need to get to the basket.
Yeah,
that was a tough shot.
She needs to go to the basket, and somebody needs to trail for the rebound.
Just inside the three-point line that shot was.
Rakshani gets in there, misses. Now the Italy is go time. They've got to run. Sotana back to Zandalicini. Kripa's got to put it up. She's open. Off the back of the iron, and it's just not going to be the Azores' night. 45 seconds remaining. The clock is the enemy, and the chants and the cheers and the smiles all over there in the Hungarian section.
And you know, we've talked about this, Jeff. We talked about it in the earlier game. Score, point differential is huge. So you got to try and score, and look at that.
Once again, Hattar with the rebound. She is maybe a double-double territory now.
Again.
The foul by Kripa. And that means free throws for Hungary.
9 rebounds for Hattar, 10 points. So after 2 games, she's going to be averaging a double-double.
This is maybe the big result, possibly, in this women's EuroBasket has been the Belarus upset, I would suggest, of Belgium today, but certainly arguably the story of this tournament has been this Hungary team. Because this will punch their ticket, at least, to the qualification for the quarterfinal round. Look at Norbert Sakay over there jumping up and down, cheering with the Hungarian fans. They know they're going to be advancing. They have won, and they've still got a game to play. What a story this Hungary team has turned out to be. They win it 59-51 over Italy. Who would have thunk it? And they've got real possibilities now, baby.
I mean, Jeff, this Hungarian team very well could be finishing first in Group C.
And going straight to the quarterfinals.
Straight to the quarterfinals. You know, a win yesterday, an 8-point win over Italy. Here we have the stats, 42%. They found the 3 late in the second half. 79%, look at that. They shot 28 free throws compared to only 14. Rebounds, 16 offensive rebounds is too many to give up. 12 assists, 15 turnovers, and you know, they didn't even play a perfect game, and they still got an 8-point win over Italy tonight.
Italy just could not put the ball in the basket tonight. Hungary had the 15 turnovers, but really Italy weren't able to capitalize on that. They didn't. I mean, they got 10 points off those turnovers. Sotana finished with 11 points. Excuse me, that's not sure what stat that was. Anyway, so high fives all the way around for Hungary. Some people wondered if they would even win a game. All they've done is come out. They've had their difficult moments, make no mistake about it, but you know, they have been able to come out and produce. They've stuck with what they want to do. They've made a commitment to get the ball inside, and they've even knocked in a few three-pointers, including this one from Rakshani. And for Italy, it's a tough pill to swallow after having fought back from an 11-point deficit to take the lead.
I just think, you know, Italy went away from what they should have been doing.
Yeah.
Here you see Sotana knocking down a shot.
If it doesn't work, try something else.
Yes, and they didn't. They continued to do the same thing over and over. And Hungary didn't play a perfect game by any means, but they knew what they needed to do to win, and they went and they were able to do that. They didn't rely on the three-pointers that weren't falling for them. They were only 3 of 15, but they only shot 15 of them. You know, they really put the ball inside. They got to the free throw line 14 more times than Italy, and to me, that's a big show about how aggressive they were on offense. And, you know, Hungary had 20 fouls. They fouled Italy 20 times. fouled 22 times. So it wasn't like the refs were biased, but it was just the fact that Hungary were way more aggressive trying to get to the basket than Italy was. And I really, you know, when the ball isn't dropping for you from outside, what do you do? And Italy weren't able to do anything different than take shots from the outside.
So Hungary will now face Turkey. The worst they can do is finish 2-1 in the group. Turkey have lost both of their games. They will need to win that one to go to 1-2. And presumably, see, Turkey have lost also to Slovenia. So they will be hoping, I think, that they can beat Hungary and that Slovenia will beat Italy. And then that they can win on the goal differential tiebreaker. That's how tight it is. And it's going to be a uncomfortable couple of days in the build-up for Italy, but just goes to show how crucial that win was for them on opening day. At least they have a chance to rebound from this very disappointing performance by them tonight against Hungary. But again, as we look at some of the stats, you really have to applaud Hungary for coming here and really just applying themselves to the game plan and believing in their chances, welcoming Yvonne Turner into the team. You have to praise her for not forcing herself on this team, but kind of letting the game come to her. And you're just seeing steady improvement from this team. Of course, they've had difficult moments in both games. And perhaps what's helped them overcome them is the fact that the quality of the opposition maybe wasn't able to punish them. But on the other hand, you can only beat who you play, and they've won both of their games. So, folks, what a great time for Hungary. They improved to 2-0. We'll see you in a couple of days. Thanks for watching.